Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to our live weekly webinar training series. So, I just want to, number one, thank every single person for taking the time with us. And our goal, as usual, is for you to walk away with sales ideas, strategies. I call them gold nuggets, but whatever the fact is, jot it down. Use your notes app. I want you all to remember these ideas, these products, strategies, so you can use this, right, to change your practice for the better. That's why we're all here, right? So, very, very important stuff. Maximize minutes. What we're talking about today, right? We have a lot going on here at Levinson, especially this time of the year, right? We're preparing for our big expo, which is about 2 months away now, which I cannot believe. We are talking about Assurity Life today and a new product to launch. So, very excited about that. We just had our 65th podcast episode launch early this past week, in fact, on Monday. So, hopefully, you got a chance to listen to that. We have a new carrier and a handful of new products that are going to be implemented to Insure Me Now Direct by the Expo. I just found out this morning. So that's very exciting. So all the way around, we got a lot of stuff going on. And what's so neat about this, and I think this is our focus right now more than ever, is it doesn't really matter if you're an agent, right, in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, out of your third bedroom, focusing on final expense sales. Great. If you're maybe listening in from Austin, Texas, and you love term or senior market products, no problem, right? If you're in Key West, Florida, and you focus on large IUL cases and you partner with estate planning attorneys and CPAs, and your average case is 700,000 a year, we have you covered. So we have all corners covered now with sales platforms, lead programs, the best carriers and products, even on the health side now. So I'm just so excited because we've always been a huge player in the life space, and then a few years later the annuity space. We created that department, and that's been off to the races. And now recently the health insurance side. So all bases covered. And not only do we have the base covered, but we have the best products opportunities, right? The best top direct commissions, renewals that are a full pass through, lead programs, all the technology that you need, right, to spread the word, open doors, and make more sales in the entire industry from A to Z. We even have a new coaching platform, right? We have the annuity dashboard, and now we are, in fact, as we speak, we'll have this up and running in about a week or two. We'll have the Life 101 part of the dashboard. So we'll have life and annuities, and we have everything covered. If you've never sold an annuity or, let's say, an IUL before, by the time you're done with our course and you get the certificate at the end, you will be a sales professional in that space. So I'm very excited about it, and it's complimentary, 100% free for all Levinson active agents. So we got a lot going on. It's great stuff, and I hope you leverage these great opportunities and platforms as a Levinson agent, and you make a ton of money and grow your business in 26. That's the goal. So, what are we talking about today? Assurity Life. So, real fast, we just made platinum status with this company, and I'm very happy to say that. We have our VP joining us today. Doug is on, who I've known for many years. They've also been a part of our expo for many years. In fact, Doug will be there on the 17th. So, Assurity Life, right? Going back to what I was just talking about. Nowadays, right, we have to focus and pivot as a company, okay, to see what's going on in our industry and outside. Clients are cross buying. Okay. That means agents need to be cross selling, right? With AI and the latest technology platforms, consumers are more educated, period. Okay. And that's why we're seeing a shift in the industry. That's why you're seeing Levinson cover all bases now moving forward, which means our agents have to cover all bases. Okay. You have to meet these clients where they want to be met. And if they want a long term care product, guess what, right? You got to talk LTC. If they want a DI product, right, that goes up to $30,000 a month of benefit, right, for even chiropractors, we have a solution. Okay, if it's term with return of premium, right? I'm seeing now these ads. I think it's these commercials from Senior Life. Yeah, they're out there saying, "Oh, we're the only ones that have term life insurance with a return of premium rider. You know, it's free life insurance, and you get all your money back." Okay, well, they're not the only ones. Number one, number two, in the brokerage space, guess what? We have a much better product. Okay. And one of them we're going to talk about today. So the point is, you need to cover all bases, work with us. Okay. Going back to Assurity, think about cross buying, cross selling. Okay. When you think about and you market, right, with your, let's say, scrappy campaigns you're putting together, term life insurance with living benefits, critical illness, right, with a return of premium option, DI with ROP, virtually guaranteed issue, accidental death plan with return of premium thrown in, right? Which means they get all their money back at the age of 70. Okay. A lot of these things, a lot of these pointers, most consumers have no idea about. So now with Assurity Life, you can sell these products with Levinson on and off Insure Me Now Direct. Okay. What does that mean? If you're face to face with the consumer, great. If, let's say, you have your iPhone, you meet someone at the supermarket, great. You pull out your app, okay, or your Insure Me Now Direct site, whatever it is, run the quote. They can apply right there. Most of these products, instant decision, okay, or within a day or two, they'll have an answer and you're done. Okay, if they go on your website, 2 a.m., you're sleeping, the client is up all night, right? They work all day, whatever it is, they can go on your website, run a quote, apply, done. So I love the fact that Assurity, not only have they changed for the better, they have new products that, in fact, we're going to talk about one of them today, this new DI product at $30,000 a month. Um, but they're always out there seeing what's hot, what's not, what do we have to change. And I love that part about Assurity, right? And they're moving the tech needle, so to speak, by being a part of Insure Me Now Direct. So very excited about this presentation. And let's jump right in. And again, make sure you have your pen and paper out or notes app because we're going over a lot of information today. We're going to get you out right before 3 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you're on until the end because we're going to ask a question, and whoever answers first and correctly wins. We have a new set of Apple AirPods, plus our IUL prospecting book for the winner. So make sure you're on, please, until the end. Make sure you're paying attention because the answer is in one of these slides that you're about to see. If we can go to the first slide here, let's jump right in. So what I'm going to do is speak for about 5 to 7 minutes, and then Doug, our VP, is going to take the wheel. So real fast, what is most important to us here at Levinson, right, besides having all the bases covered, is you, right, our customer, our agents. We don't sell on a retail level. We don't have a call center, right, in the north wing of the office. Okay, you are our number one. So when we see these reviews come in on Google, right, on our link, on our Facebook Levinson page, it means everything. Okay, and I know I talk about this every other week. Okay, but it is that important, and this is what makes our employees happy, our extended family happy. Okay, we do luncheons, right, a couple times a month. We do incentives in the office when we get these great comments. So please leave a review. Okay, it means everything to us, right? And if you're happy, then it's a win win. Plus, you get an IUL prospecting book on us. Okay, so real fast, top left hand corner, FIS Group. Thank you for sharing. And then Tom Harmon, right hand side. We appreciate these things. And by the way, we're not always perfect, right? Maybe 1% of the time we do make a mistake. Let us know. Carrie and myself, we're here, okay, most of the time. Send an email or just call into the office, ask for one of us, and we'll jump in and try to make it right for you. That's our promise to you. But 99% of the time, you're going to be very happy, just like FIS Group and Tom over here. And by the way, check out our Google reviews page and our Levinson Facebook page, and you'll see other agents, right, speaking about Levinson and how happy they are with our customer service. So please keep sharing. Let's keep moving forward. This is our big agent expo of the year. Make sure you RSVP. The reason why we're capped at 300, okay, per fire code. We cannot fit one more person in this room. Okay, so it's very, very important. Please RSVP. It's complimentary. Okay, we bring in a nice breakfast in the morning. We have a networking lunch right on the ocean around 12 o'clock. It's an hour networking lunch event. Then right after that, we have our keynote, and then we'll get everybody out by 5 p.m. But we have 11 carriers. We have a great Forbes Council keynote speaker. It will be a day you will never forget, and it will change your business if you're there paying attention and writing down some of these great strategies, okay? Because I know this will help you tremendously because we spoke to every single speaker for this event and we told them you have to bring great sales ideas to the table, okay? That's part of the invitation for you and your carrier. And if not, right, they're not welcome back to next year's event. So the point of this expo is stack the bricks in 26. That's our hashtag. That's the theme. Make sure you're registered. Assurity and Doug will be there as well. Let's keep moving forward. So real fast, what I want to talk about is our newsletter. So every other week, this is sitting in your inbox. And like I said 3 times already, right? We have the life side covered, the annuity side, now the health side. How do you keep up with all of these carrier and product changes, updates, right? Assurity just launched this new awesome DI product. Well, how do you know where the agent guide is and the consumer brochure? And how do you even know they launched a product? Everything is here in the newsletter. Okay. If you're not getting this, let us know, or possibly it could be sitting in your junk folder, or we may have your incorrect email address. But if so, just call in and we'll get that corrected for you. But make sure you keep your eyes peeled for our 411 newsletter. Let's keep moving forward. This is my last slide, and then Doug will take the wheel. So what are we talking about today? Yes, we're talking about the Assurity's great products and how easy they are, right? And some of these new niches. And think about this for a second. I spoke about the new DI product, up to $30,000 of a monthly benefit, not just gray collar anymore. Now, white collar, okay? Now, think about chiropractors, right? Very difficult to get a DI policy for chiropractors. Now, Assurity Life has a solution, okay? But we're going to talk about, let's move to the left-hand side, impaired risk, because not everyone fits into that standard or better criteria. So we do have virtually guaranteed issue DI policies available, okay, with Lloyd's, FSL, Illinois Mutual, and Assurity. Obviously, Assurity's at the top. Blue collar, same exact thing, except for Emeritus and Manhattan. And then white and gray, of course, Principal for physicians, Emeritus, Mass Standard, and Assurity now is front and center in the white collar space. And then, of course, on the right-hand side, our biggest player, number one player on Insure Me Now Direct is Assurity as well, with another great solution. And by the way, the new product, in fact, we have a call next week. You're going to be able to use that product on your direct-to-consumer platform as well with Insure Me Now. So I'm super excited about that. There's going to be a lot more to come. You'll see what I'm talking about in the next few weeks. Let's move forward to our feature presenter. Doug is here from Assurity Life, and he's going to jump in further.
Thank you very much, Bill. Let me just pull up my screen here. Wonderful.
Yep.
We very much appreciate the intro there, Bill, as you do always a great job laying it all out for us and really setting the table. So welcome, everyone. I appreciate you taking some time to learn a little bit about what we're doing here at Assurity. Just real high level first, I am the Regional Vice President, Doug Bedore, with Assurity Life. Been working with the team at Levinson for many years now, and one of my favorite groups to keep working with. If you are unfamiliar with Assurity, we've got a very broad product portfolio, and Bill really alluded to it on his slides here. Really everything from the ROP term to whole life to critical illness, disability income, accidental death, accidental expense products. Really have a lot of things to cover your bases, but today we are going to highlight one, and it's a brand new product for us. Assurity has been in the disability income space for really since our inception. We are a company over 120 years old. It is a focus for us, and really what we've done this week and debuting a new product is bolster our offering to not only be just kind of that middle market carrier. We have options to cover many clients, really a range of clients. So we'll talk about that a little bit here. So we are going to focus today on the DI portfolio and specifically our long-term DI. If you've never sold a DI plan before, great. You have an opportunity to go to your book of business and talk about DI. I personally think that disability income is really the engine that drives a financial plan of your client. If they're going to make sure that their life is covered with a term policy, or they've got some aggressive plans with their IUL to make sure that they're setting themselves up for retirement, or even a critical illness plan to make sure that they're covering sickness. The missing link to all of that can be disability, because what is funding all of those plans? It's typically going to be their paycheck. It's almost always going to be their paycheck. And disability income is paycheck protection. If they are unable to work because they become sick or have an accident and become disabled, that paycheck goes away. That client's going to have a lot of hard decisions about what it is that they keep on funding. I know that, my first priority is making sure that the roof's over my head, the mortgage is paid, and the bills are paid. And then I'm going to start thinking about what I had planned with my insurance. So disability income really is a cornerstone product. It really holds up that foundation of their financial plan. So something I would suggest we don't overlook with our clients. In the United States, it is a product that is often, we just all assume that, hey, I got something through work, I'm sure. Well, oftentimes that's going to be a short-term plan. Oftentimes that's not a plan that's portable. If the job goes away, the next day you're not going to have a disability coverage. So this is something that I suggest we look at for all of our clients. And like I said, if you haven't done a DI sale, wonderful. You've got a brand new product to go back to your book and say, hey, how can we make sure we are actually protecting all the bases? So with that, that's my little elevator speech on DI. We have a very wide portfolio, as Bill kind of referenced there on that slide with all the DI carriers. We've been known in the past to be kind of that middle market, blue collar DI piece, but if you break down the numbers, you look at the DI that we've typically sold, more than 50% of it is in that white collar space. So your executives, your lawyers, we can cover a large benefit amount. We can cover all those, and we've just built a product that is certainly competitive and has a lot of great options if someone's looking for all the bells and whistles on a DI plan. The slide we're looking at here is just really covering the different types of plans that we have. We have everything from a long-term plan, which we're going to talk about today. But in addition to that, we do have short-term plans that you can sell to an individual. Both the long and short-term plans can be sold as your traditional plans that cover accident and sickness. If you have a situation health-wise that a client is not able to qualify for a typical DI plan with Assurity or any other carriers, you now have an option for doing an accident-only DI plan for them. If they've really got stuff going on, health-wise, a graded benefit disability plan is also available from Assurity. And again, kind of as Bill mentioned, we cover quite a bit, a lot of bases on that plan. We also have a DI plan specific to business owners to cover the expenses of the business if the owner were to become disabled, make sure that the mortgage is paid and the salaries are paid. So something just specific for business owners. So with that being said, we're going to jump right into the new product that we're talking about. Again, long-term disability. The name of the product is Income Protection Plus. If you are happen to be looking at our site, if you're looking at the materials that Levinson provides about Assurity, you will notice that we now have two products, one called Income Protection Plus, the other one just called Income Protection. The plus stands for long-term, just Income Protection is our short-term product. Just wanted to say that off the bat so we have no confusion there. Gonna jump right in. What I'm going to mention today in the first bit of this information, this presentation, is going to be a little bit in the weeds on a DI product. If you've never sold one, I'm going to try to kind of point out why these pieces and parts are important. If you have sold a policy with Assurity, our old plan was called the Century Plus. So if you ever dealt with that product before, you're going to see that we're kind of highlighting the differences between the two. So we're going to get into a little bit of a product weeds, which we don't like to do too long or too often, but I'm going to run through this. But I really do want to get you some sales ideas. So at the end, I'm going to pull up kind of a real world example sales idea. I'm also going to show you some of the other ones that we have available for you, both on our site, and then we'll be providing to Levinson for your benefit as well. But in that kind of mindset, what's different about it, the new plan that we released this week, DI plans generally, historically, have allowed you to write a policy, usually to a client up into their 60s, up into 60. For our new plan, we allow you to write the plan up to age 64. And that's important because we know people are working longer. People are living longer, and that means they're working longer too. So if you've got a client that is now 61 or 62 years old, we still have a plan for them to make sure that they're going to cover those last few years of working, make sure that their income's protected, so their retirement plans don't go awry if they have an early disability. Also adding a benefit period, so how long they would receive benefit if they were to become disabled, all the way to age 70. So that's a new and improved on our plan. We've typically used to kind of cap it at 65 now, because we know people are living and working longer. We'll go to age 70. The elimination period on a DI plan is how long you need to wait once you become disabled, how long you need to wait to get that first benefit payment. Most people who buy our plan select about a 90-day wait. You can do a 30-day wait. You can do longer, you can do shorter. Just kind of affects the cost. We added a very long elimination period option on this plan. So you could select a 365 or even a 730-day wait before we start the benefit. Why is that good? Why is that important? Well, when you're looking at a long-term DI plan, you want to make sure it's coordinating if they have a short-term plan. Some people do have short-term disability through their work. If they have a plan that will pay them for a year or 2 years, what we can do is set up the elimination period on the separate long-term plan they're buying to match that. So if you did a 730 days, if they become disabled, their short-term plan, maybe they have it through work, maybe they are buying an individual short-term plan through Assurity, they can do that. That short-term plan is going to pay that benefit out on the front end, on the beginning of their disability. If after those 2 years they are still disabled, that's when the long-term plan would then kick in. So really trying to cover all the bases. Again, what we generally typically sell is usually a 30 or 90-day elimination period. Make sure they have that long-term benefit kicking right in. Another great improvement on our newest plan is really the underwriting. When it comes to underwriting a DI plan, if you've never sold one, the most important thing, on life insurance, the most important thing usually is like height and weight and very health specific things. On a critical illness plan, usually the most important thing is family history. Is there anything that's popped up in your family history? On a DI plan, most important thing, what do you do every day? What is your occupation? And that occupation generally is going to dictate how we see you as a risk. What insurance carriers have done in the past is if you have more than one job, they'll kind of look at that second job or whichever is the most, I shouldn't say dangerous job or the most risky job, and set your occupation class to that. Okay, because maybe you work in an office all week, but on the side you're out driving Uber or something that's a little more inherently dangerous than sitting in an office. Well, we're just automatically going to give you what the rate we would give for someone who drives. So what we're doing really with our underwriting now is we're taking into account blending those occupations. So if you do have someone that has kind of that multitasking mentality, maybe they've got a side hustle, or maybe they got 3 or 4 jobs, especially the younger kids, we're seeing that quite so much more. Our product can handle that now. You let us know, and you let the team at Levinson know. We'll work with our underwriters, and it'll give us really a unique evaluation that's going to give them credit and understand that, hey, the majority of their time is maybe in an office, but they're doing this on the side. Allows us to do that multi-occupation underwriting. So a great kind of piece and story there, how we're building some strength in the product that is working with a shifting workforce. So real basics on the product. Bill mentioned this a few times. I do think this is the sizzle. We can go up to now $30,000 of monthly benefit. So that's a pretty big amount, $30,000 a monthly benefit. If you have a policy that is paying out over a year time, you're $360,000 of benefit in a year. When you're looking at DI plans, if you've never sold one, kind of industry standard and true of Assurity too, is generally will let you insure up to 60% of a client's income. So just to use kind of even numbers, if they make $100,000, you can generally buy up to about $60,000 of coverage per year, which on a monthly basis would break down to a little under 6,000, 5,000, something there. So just get your perspective. So that was 100,000 I just mentioned out loud. You can obviously for $30,000 a monthly benefit, we cover very high income amounts too. So if they're making 400, 500,000, we're in that range now, which is why we are in the game now for really not just your truck drivers and your construction workers and your roofers, but your dentists and chiropractors and executives as well. We can cover quite a bit of range when it comes to income. Also, what we're going to talk about, I'll have a slide on this later, occupation classes I mentioned. When you're doing underwriting, really the biggest and most important thing that we often see is what do they do? We have 6 different occupation classes. I'll give you some examples of those in a second. I mentioned before benefit periods. We do everything from 1 year, we do 5 and 10 years. We all go all the way up to age 65 and now all the way up to age 67 as well, and 70. Elimination periods we talked about a bit. We are a guaranteed renewable product. They do have options. You could add a rider to make it a non-cancelable product if that is something that the client is interested in as well. So basic highlights here of the product. Next couple of slides, again, going to get into the weeds a little bit. If you've sold the DI, some of this might sound familiar to you. I'm going to kind of try to set the stage. Again, incomes amounts in terms of top benefit limits. It is broken down by occupation class. So 6, 5, 4, and 3A, those are kind of the better occupation classes in terms of cost. Those are, the health, or if you're a life policy, you'd say those are the healthier rate classes. Those are the least expensive rate classes. We can do up to the 30,000. If you're a 2A or a 1A, we max out at $15,000, $10,000 respectively. On the right side, if you are familiar with our older product, you can see we had pretty much an improvement all around on those. So a really great opportunity to cover all your bases and really every client in your book. Underwriting, Bill had kind of mentioned, hey, we've got some spots we can do these very easily and quickly, and that's why they work very well on an Insure Me Now direct type setup. If you're running a quote, sometimes the default on those quotes will just kind of show some of these limits because we know this is some sweet spots of where we sell them. So no medical exams up to age 50, up to $8,000 of monthly benefit. So again, you remember I did that $100,000 example, $8,000 of monthly benefits more than that. So we're probably be more about the $150,000 of income. If you're looking to really get the most coverage you can for someone making 150 or less, you're going to assume you're probably not going to need an exam for that one. We don't require financials. We don't have them send in W-2s if they're writing $6,000 or less. We don't have them send tax returns if they're writing a $6,000 monthly benefit or less. If they're a W-2 employee, if they're an independent contractor or 1099 contractor, we do require financials 4,000 and more. So, but still, yeah, that's covering quite a bit of income there, probably about $80,000 of annual income for most of the 1099s that we still wouldn't need financials on. So just trying to give you some perspective. We've got a pretty quick and easy way to get these underwritten and without having to kind of go back to the client and get some more details on them. So I mentioned earlier when we were talking about the elimination period, how long you need to wait before you are being diagnosed, you are totally disabled, you're under a doctor's care. If you buy a 90-day elimination period, you wait 90 days. After those 90 days, we pay a benefit. Previously, and with some of our competitors, it is a straight, you got to wait that elimination period. And if you go back to work in those 90 days, that is, and you come off disability and are able to work, that stops your time period if you really need to start again for that next 90 days before we could kick the benefit in. We have gone to more of a system. You're picking an elimination period, but each of those elimination periods also has an accumulation period assigned to it. So the example we have on the screen at the bottom, if you buy a 90-day elimination period, it also is a 180-day accumulation period. So if you become disabled and for the first 40 days you're waiting there and you're diagnosed with a disability, but you come off disability, you go back to work, for whatever reason, hey, it's just not working. Maybe you have a back issue, you go back to work and it's aggravating it, and you're going to go back on disability. So you gave it a try, you went back, and you had to turn around and come back onto disability. You have a period of 180 days that if you can accumulate 90 days, they don't have to be 90 consecutive anymore. They could be any 90 days over 180. That could be used to qualify you for benefit. So I know a little bit of wordplay there, elimination period, accumulation period. Really the takeaway here is this is an improvement. Instead of being a straight consecutive elimination period, you've got some options, you've got some leeway. We're not going to penalize you for giving it a go and trying to get back to work. If for whatever reason you can't and you're still need to go back on disability, you are not giving up that chance to kick your benefit on. So elimination period, accumulation period. Again, we're going to talk a little bit about occupation class. If you're familiar with our old product, we used to have 4 occupation classes. We have upgraded to a 6 occupation class system. And what this has really allowed us to do is for those less risky occupations, give us some more room to improve premiums. So really think everything you see at the bottom there that says 6A and 5A, most all of those were stuffed in 4A before, and really anything in 4A was given really the same premium. We've got the 5 and 6A to work with now, so we can improve premium. And with this, I'm going to kind of point out a couple spots that we are seeing a lot of really great pricing, making people who have never sold Assurity before seeing our price pop up, and we're hearing from them. So we've got some really great niches now. Just in the last week, I'm hearing occupations coming to us that we hadn't heard before. So fantastic stuff. Anything in the executive space, the business executive space, we're very competitive. Computer programmer, engineer, fantastic now at that 6A and very affordable. Where we're seeing a ton of space, and I've got an example later we're going to talk about, is that hospital surgical nurse, clinical physician or clinical nurse in that 4A space. Very competitive there. I'd say, hey, we're in the game with doctors. We've got some features and some benefits that we can add onto our policy to play with anyone. But we're probably less focused on doctors, that one doctor in the doctor's office, and it's more the 6 or 7 nurses that if you can get into those and sell 6 or 7 policies to nurses, you're going to do very well. And we have a very competitive product with that. So that nurse space has been great for us. It used to be a 3A, so that was an upgrade to a 4A with this. And then as Bill had mentioned, we're one of the few companies that if you look on that 1A space in the chiropractor market, that is still a space that we will sell in. That just reminded me, only kind of caveat to chiropractors, we'll sell everywhere except California. That is a space that we won't sell in. This new product I've been mentioning today, I should have mentioned this up at the top. We launched this really just over a week ago. We launched it in 46 states. So we've pretty much got the whole country. We've got 4 states that are lagging behind. We're waiting. Those are Montana, New York, Florida, and California. So I know I'm based in Florida. I know a lot of agents based in Florida. This product and this presentation is really more a preview for you. We still are selling our old product. We still have a fantastic DI in that space. We're probably a couple weeks away from getting our final approval in the state. We find Florida and California for pretty much every product and approval takes a little bit longer. So we're not really surprised we don't have it just yet. But yes, take this as a preview. But we still have full long-term PI for all states, just a couple of states for this product that we're still waiting on. So anyway, back to occupation class, a lot of really great improvements here, cover a lot of occupations. And with that, going to go into a little bit more of a product section here. So not to get in the weeds too much, but I just want to kind of mention to you, this is really an interesting feature for us. With disability products, the power of any disability product, whether you're with Assurity or any other carrier, is in the definition that they have on disability. That, in my eyes, that dictates what a strong policy is, and you know what an expensive policy is. Quite honestly, there's lots of different ways you can do a definition on disability, and I'm not going to pick through each one of these, but I will say that for most carriers, they have picked a definition. You buy a product, you get what they get. What we are looking to do is give you the option. What you're looking at on the screen are 4 separate options. For most clients, you're going to be able to pick between 4 different disability definitions. Right when you buy the policy on the application, you can check a box next to one of these 4. The way they're listed on the screen is pretty much the way that you could expect them to be if you're looking at the most expensive to least expensive, basically. True own occupation is if the client were to become disabled and they are unable to perform their own occupation for the entire period. And so that is kind of the Cadillac definition, often the most expensive one, an option for you on our product. The second one there, if they become disabled, they cannot perform duties of their own occupation for the first 2 years. After 2 years, if they can perform an occupation based on their ability and training, that would basically be possible that they wouldn't receive a benefit any longer. So it's a less strong definition. So again, not going to get into the nitty-gritty of these, but the important part is all of our policies used to be that second definition that I just mentioned out loud. You now have options for a stronger definition. You now have options for more affordable definitions below, all the way across the board. So just want to kind of highlight that on any quote you do. The default is the number 3 option there, but you can kind of click and choose which one you want to dial in cost to make sure you've got something affordable for the client. Not going to go through every single rider, because believe it or not, on the screen, this is not every single rider. These are just things that we made improvements on. But I do want to tell you, if you've never done DI, DI is rider heavy, more so than probably any product that you sold before, whether it be IUL or life insurance or anything else. We love our riders on DI. It allows you to really have some flexibility and really dial a plan in for a client. But we don't want to spend too much time here. I just want to, if you're in the DI space or have been in it before, I want to mention a couple of things that are really nice and are making our product stand out right now. One is we have a built-in partial disability benefit. It allows the client, if they become disabled, but they are able to go back to work and they're basically have a partial disability diagnosis, they can still work and they'll still can receive a partial benefit, and they can get paid up to 6 months. If the client wants to kind of extend that a little bit longer beyond 6 months, we have residual and enhanced residual riders that really allows the client to try to get back to work. And really the whole kind of slide here, I'll just mention it real quick, kind of gives 4 different scenarios. If the client can't work at all the way on the left-hand side, they can't work, make no income, obviously that's going to be a total disability. That's when your regular benefit kicks in. If you choose a residual rider, that would be for a client who can work, but not like they used to. They have reduced duties or hours, their income partially returns, they're still medically impaired, and maybe a partial disability. So residual disability rider, it pays a minimum of 50% of the benefit for the first 6 months. And then really on the enhanced allows them, if they're back full time, maybe they have come off disability, but the time away from work for whatever reason, it means that they have come back, but they haven't really recovered when it comes to earnings. So if they come back to work, even if they're not even on disability anymore, but their income is 20% down or more, we will still pay benefits, a portion of their benefit out. If they are back to work at full capacity, obviously that's when benefits naturally end. So a lot going on in this slide, but just try to say, hey, we've got some base built-in partial benefits that the product comes with, but you've got some options for some residual, enhanced residual as well. With that, going to jump through. Benefit increase rider. It's built into the policy at no additional cost. Short and sweet of this. Every 3 years, starting in year 3, the insured has an option to increase their disability monthly income benefit based on what their income is now. So as their income grows, gives them options to let the policy grow with them, without, going through a deep insurability check or anything like that. So coverage stays relevant as income rises, no pressure to overbuy early. As their income rises, they can buy. Producers love it because obviously it's gives you an option to have a built-in kind of policy review with them, and allows you to up that policy, get paid on that additional amount as they increase the policy and it grows with them. This one's real specific here. This is a mental disorder rider. Really, if you add this rider on, you're removing limitations that insurance companies generally put on DI policies. So psychiatric and mental specific illnesses are oftentimes excluded from being a benefit trigger on DI plans. If that is something that is important to a client, we see a lot in the physician space. They feel that this is an important piece of a DI plan. They can absolutely add this rider in and remove those exclusions. It just adds some expense to the policy. We generally see most clients don't elect one of these, but we want everyone to have the option. If they think this is an important piece, they can add it on to the policy as well. So gonna pop on through here. I think this is one of the coolest and best riders that we've got now on the policy. Stay-at-home spouse rider. It pays a monthly benefit when the insured's spouse is totally disabled and the elimination period is satisfied. So it has a specific benefit for not the insured, but the insured spouse. Why does this matter? This helps offset costs of really replacement care, protects the household, and it's an acknowledgement of real economic value for unpaid work. So if you are a stay-at-home spouse, if you become disabled, the assumption shouldn't be is, oh, well, that has no big effect on the family or the finances. We all know that's not true. In many situations, that's the person that's keeping everything running. So this is really recognizing that we've got some options to help cover the whole family unit in terms of disability. So with that, I know we hate going too deep into products, and I got a lot of slides on features and whatnot. But with a new product, I just really did want to highlight some of the changes and the big things. But I do want to touch a little bit on process and give you a great sales idea at the end here. And that's what we love to share and what I plan to share when we get to the expo as well. Give you some real great nuggets and sales ideas that you can build on. What we've got here is just a little quick, if you have a policy you need done today, and you are appointed with Assurity, you can talk to your team at Levison. They'll get you all hooked up. But we do have an electronic application system that is available to you right today. Easy for you to get in to do an agent-led sale. You can do quotes from here very quickly and easily as well. With that being said, as Bill mentioned, next week we're going to be working with their team there to figure out the best ways to get you direct access to quoting and moving those cases along directly on Insure Me Now Direct. So stay tuned there, but just want to show you a quick picture. This is just a snapshot of what you'd see if you went to fasttrack.assurity.com. It's at the bottom of the screen there, fasttrack.assurity.com. Anyone can get to this. You don't need to log in. If you hit the quote section, you'll get to this screen. You can plug in a client's age, how much they make. It'll suggest the maximum benefit available. You can always dial that back if they're not looking for a full benefit. If they want to, need to stay under the $8,000 a month, so they don't need to do any additional underwriting, things like that. You can dial all that in, and right on the right-hand side, they'll give you what the monthly price would be for a particular client. As you add or remove riders, you can kind of dial that price in. Once you've got it dialed in, if you are appointed with Assurity, you can hit that Apply Now button, start an application, get it going. Or if you just want to pull an illustration or send a quote to a client or or whatever you want to do there. It's all right there, quick and easy, very fast. Brand new software. Had a couple bugs when we first launched about a week ago. Most of them are getting ironed out, but yeah, if you get hung up on anything, just let us or the team at Levinson know, and we'll get you worked out on that. And with that, one final quick really sales idea. So like I've kind of mentioned throughout this, when it comes to underwriting, when it comes to talking DI, what we often see is we're talking occupations. When we're looking at markets, we're talking about what markets do we see, not only wanting DI, but needing DI. We've got a few of these, what we call occupation playbooks. We've got them posted on our website. We'll be getting them over to the Levinson team, and they may already be hosted. I'll double check with them, but if they're not, we'll make sure that you have direct access to them with our favorite partners there over at Levinson as well. I pulled one of them because I think they're really cool. I think they give you not only a cool, interesting way to think about a particular occupation, it's going to give you a little bit of an example of suggestion of what you might use to quote them. So I pulled the playbook for registered nurses. Again, I mentioned before, kind of a hot occupation with our product. We're seeing a lot of inquiries and selling a lot of these policies. Registered nurses, 3.4 million jobs in that field. So very large field, lots of opportunity out there. Really, just under a six-figure median pay. So obviously, depending on where you're at, that could be much higher, could be a little lower as well. But yeah, definitely a prime opportunity. Just kind of a market note, it's a large addressable market. Employer benefits are common, but what we're finding is employer benefits often don't cover really the long-term disability piece of it. So through this playbook example, we're going to kind of talk about that. So for the playbook, we're using really two sample clients just to kind of give us some variation and to think about them. So let's say a registered nurse in a hospital setting, a 32-year-old female, they're a W-2 employee if they're in a hospital setting generally. They could be a travel nurse. They could be a 1099. There's a little bit of different underwriting qualifications for that, but still we can do those all the same. Registered nurse with employer provided. Maybe they have some short-term, long-term care, and we can address that. On the right-hand side, just kind of another example, 40-year-old male, registered a charge duty, so a charge nurse, W-2 employee, $120,000 of income. So what are the recommendations? What are we looking at for these clients? For these particular clients, a couple things you want to think about is that elimination period. If we know that they have short-term disability, we want to ask, hey, how long is the benefit period on that short-term? If it's, for example, 3 months or 6 months, if we know that, then we can really match the long-term to play with that. So if we do a 180-day elimination period, that's going to cover that they'll have their short-term in place, and when they exhaust their short-term disability, then the long-term would kick in, and then no underwriting or no basically overlapping there, so it shouldn't be an issue to write them. Total disability definition. So kind of importance piece, they understand they're unable to work in their own occupation. We are going to do a residual rider on this. So especially, nursing, it can be a physical occupation. If you've got a back injury or an arm injury or shoulder, and you try to go back to work and maybe you can't do the 12-hour shifts anymore, and you're going to have really a reduction of time that you can spend in the occupation. So that residual disability rider is going to give you some protection if you try to go back, but you just can't go back like you used to. So that's a rider that we're going to show in there. For the quote, we're not adding these on in the next page, but just to give you an idea, some other riders that we haven't talked about. We've got the cost of living adjustment riders. So once you go into a benefit and claim, this would increase, and you can choose either the 3 or 5%, increases your benefit each year to really help with inflation, things like that. Benefit increase rider, if they are making more money down the line, that's built into the product. They can increase the product without going through underwriting again. So why does design work? With the own occupation definition really aligns with realistic scenarios, what they see. I kind of touched on the residual disability rider, why that makes sense for someone in that type of occupation, and the elimination period as well. So the design kind of works in a couple different senses. And again, quick and easy. We in a couple pages, and we've got these as PDFs. If you've got a registered nurse, this is something you can pull up to kind of give you this framework. And then on to what we do for quotes. So the 32-year-old female, I think the income is right around $90,000 or so. We did a $4,000 monthly benefit. Turns out to $116 a month in premium. So if they were to become disabled, maybe they have some short term that would kick in for a little bit, but after 180 days, if they're still disabled, they'd be getting paid out $4,000 per month to them to make sure that they can continue their financial plans. They can continue their maybe it's one, pay the car bill, keep the lights on, but two, make sure that their plans that they put together, whether it was an IUL or a term policy, those things keep being funded as well, and things like that. So again, just for comparison purposes, registered nurse for charge duties, 40-year-old male. This one we did $5,000 a monthly benefit, comes out to $119 a month. To have that peace of mind that no matter what it is, whether it's a sickness or an accident that keeps them from work, that paycheck keeps going and their financial plan stays intact. So I will, with that, open it up to any questions or turn it back over to the Levinson team.
Awesome stuff, Doug. That was great as always. What we're going to do, because I want to make sure we get everyone out by 3. I know Andrew is answering all the questions in real time. Anything that we need to patch you in on, Doug, we'll do that. But we appreciate it. Once again, great job. We're also going to send everyone a thank you email tonight before we leave, and we'll include contracting, product brochures, everything Doug touched on, and then, of course, access to Insure Me Now Direct and all of the other bells and whistles for you. And, of course, call in with any questions or email us. And then if it's whatever, a big enough opportunity, if you have a few agents you work with and you need a custom private training, a one-on-one Zoom, all the above, we can also set that up for you. No problem, anywhere in the country. Okay, let's jump into the first slide here. I want to, again, make sure I get everyone out within about 7 minutes here. How to get started. So here's what's awesome about Assurity. So you can actually get pre-appointed, get a just-in-time code, and then have Insure Me Now Direct set up, or of course take an e-application right from their site. So either way, they make it very, very simple. If you're with another IMO, right? Maybe you have Assurity now, and I'm sure you're probably missing a lot of these platforms we just went over, like the scholarship program, like the E&O product, the agent benefits, and you say, hey, I want to move everything to Levinson. Great. We match or beat your commission. Usually we'll beat it. And then, of course, cash for contracting or leads for contracting with your first paid app. Okay. So we make it a win-win-win across the board when you transfer your Assurity to Levinson and Associates. Let's keep moving forward. I got a few things to cover, some great marketing ideas for you. I know you're out there, right? You're trying to be scrappy. You want to get the word out, right? You want to open doors, tell your story. So this is a great campaign. We all remember mortgage protection from years and years ago, right? It was a huge part of our industry. Well, fast forward to today, now rates are coming down a bit, right? We've seen a few adjustments over the last year, and hopefully they keep going down, even if it's a quarter. It's okay because why? It creates sizzle for refis and new mortgages. So I love this campaign. We can even co-brand this piece for you, and we use the Assurity product for the campaign. And just think about this. We spoke about having all bases covered. Well, you need to literally translate that message to prospects. Okay. And what I love about this one life insurance policy is if there's a death, right? The insured passes away, tax free death benefit. If they're disabled, premiums are paid. Critical illness, they get a one time lump sum and then cash back option at the end of the term if they make it. If they don't, again, tax free death benefit. So talk about a win win win. This is a great concept. And think about if you're putting together a social media paid ad, okay? Imagine where you can take this, okay? And how many people will like or comment or ask questions. And then take this, and we have another slide here I'm going to show you, but all of the pluses, right, and the bullets I just touched on, and then tack on a $40,000 scholarship for little Johnny or little Shelly, okay, for 4-year tuition anywhere in the country, 450 colleges, okay? Talk about a no-brainer. Let's keep moving forward. What I want to speak about quickly, Insure Me Now Direct, right? These are the carriers that are on the platform today. Assurity has the second most products on there. They have everything covered from A to Z. Doug just touched on it. And we're adding the new product as well. So we're going to have a neat feature that we're going to show you in a couple weeks. And then we have a new carrier with three products that is being programmed right now. I found out all the details this morning. So some really cool stuff to come with Insure Me Now Direct. In fact, I think the official launch will be live at the expo. All right, let's keep moving forward. So these are the products and carriers that are on the platform today. So if you want to try it out, click away, call Gregory. He'll get you set up with your headshot, phone number, domain, everything. Okay. And our marketing material, we can also co brand for you as well to drive traffic and business to your platform. Let's keep moving forward. So I want to talk real fast about marketing, right? Your business, Insure Me Now Direct, even if you're focusing on P&C products, right? Maybe if it's health insurance, right? You're the health guru, no problem, right? You need to be cross selling because your clients are cross buying. So we have all of the campaigns, the flyers, e-blasts, videos, co-branded videos, everything to help you accomplish that with our playbook. And here's what's so neat. So if you were on last week's webinar, I spoke about the new AI marketing platform, right? In fact, I took 10 pilot agents where it's going to be free for you. We launched, or I shouldn't say we launched, we spoke about it last week. We're going to be launching that in, I would say, about 3 to 5 weeks after the pilot agents get a chance to dive in and give feedback. But that is going to be amazing because you take one flyer like we just showed you on the mortgage protection and you enter that into the AI platform, it's going to give you 17 different newsletters, flyers, e-blasts, campaigns, all based around that strategy. And you press a button and boom, you just literally post it on 4 platforms, sent it out through Constant Contact, and got the word out to your entire database within seconds. So, anyway, we have some really, really cool stuff coming. Very, very excited about it. And you, as a Levinson agent, get a sneak peek and discounted pricing on everything. Most of this is free, by the way, that I just went over. Let's keep moving. I spoke about the scholarship program. So, again, Assurity has been a huge part of this since the beginning. On top of all of the carriers on the right hand side, what's so great about this, number one, right, any products you sell from these carriers, right, these approved carriers, you can now give that insured 1 year free tuition for any blood relative. Okay, that's about a $50,000 value for not a penny, and it doesn't cost you a penny as the agent to participate in the program. Okay, you just have to be a Levinson agent and then enrolled, which is 100% complimentary. But think about this for a second. Okay, not only is this great for new apps, right, that you're taking in or trying to create some new activity, you want to market this, it's great, but all of the past policyholders. Now that you're a Sage slash Levinson agent, right, you can go back to Johnny, Shelly, Susie, everyone you sold an Assurity policy to in the last 5 years, for example, and say, hey, great news. Guess what? Since I'm a Sage approved agent, I can now give you the scholarship at no charge because you bought this policy from me 4.5 years ago. Okay, what is that going to do for you for referrals? Okay, do you know anyone else that could use the scholarship or this type of mortgage protection term product? Okay, think about this. Think about annual policy reviews. Think about our orphan leads. Okay, most of our orphan leads are from Assurity, are from Banner, Sagicor, okay, Kansas. In fact, most of the companies you're looking at. So you can go back, open the door, and create a new sale, okay, or conversion. So anyway, the options are endless. Let's keep moving. I have just 2 minutes left here. I'm going to be real fast. This is, in my opinion, the best part of our presentation, okay? Because you're always looking for new ideas, new strategies to open doors. When you present this to a consumer, I don't know who's going to say no to this, okay? Think about a young family, all right? Let's say the wife, the spouse is the breadwinner, okay? In this example, we use $1 million ROP term product, 20-year ROP term product, 1 million, female age 30. healthy. Okay, no problems. And just think about this for a second. They have two young children, okay, and you're in there presenting or through a Zoom call, whatever it is. Okay. Now, total premium, $82 and change per month. Okay, $82 per month. Now, let's call her Susie, the insured. Susie, God forbid, passes away. All right, and little Jenny, right, heartbroken, right? They want to know, oh my gosh, how's Jenny going to go to college? There's $1 million tax free check that's coming in. Plus, they still have the scholarship. Okay, now, chances are, right, she's only 30 years old. Susie's healthy, 30-year-old female. She's going to make it 20 years. So great. Now, 20 years later, okay, all premiums are coming back. So you're looking at 18,000 and change, right? Coming back to the insured, tax-free, okay? Plus the scholarship, okay? Now think about this for a minute. So total premium outlay, okay, take the 82 bucks over the 20-year period, there's a 3 times return if Susie's still alive at the end of the 20 years. 3 times return. If she's not, God forbid, $1 million tax free. Plus, they still keep the SAGE scholarship program. Do you think you can sell this? Okay. And by the way, it's guaranteed. Okay. So if she doesn't make it, guaranteed. She does make it, guaranteed 3 times return. It's a win-win, no-brainer. You just have to think about how am I going to explain this to my prospects, to the public, because I don't know who's going to say no. Let's keep moving forward. All right, the new Lead Star company, awesome. So think about on the life side, final expense. They have mortgage term they're working on now. The annuity side, they have seminars, mailers. They have, if you're on the health insurance side, this is A to Z platform with a call recorder, scripts built in, CRM built in, and it's free for Levinson agents. Obviously, if you want to purchase leads, it's a co-op discounted price. But I love this. This came with our new partnership, right, with AmeriLife. And this platform, I've never seen anything like it. Check out the podcast or the webinar. The next slide are 3 social media posts that are working great today. I'm going to talk about real fast the one on the right-hand side. Very simple. It's just about education. The one in the middle, a man's life is the most precious thing in the world, isn't it? So, isn't it odd that a man will insure everything but his life? That's a Ben Feldman quote. Obviously, this could be for a husband or wife, but it opens doors. Left hand side, if your income stopped tomorrow, would you be okay? Right? That one question created over 300 comments, likes, and shares. That could be you. It should be you. Okay? Don't reinvent the wheel, change a few spokes. Okay, next slide is the podcast. We just launched episode 65. This is the only way to premium finance. If you happen to know anyone, right, Bill? I have a guy or girl net worth over 15 million, right? Super successful. We have a great solution for you. The average size case is 100,000 to over $1 million of target premium a year. Okay, this could be you. This could be a life changer. Okay, and you're helping the family and helping yourself. You still keep the majority of the commission. Okay, my last slide here is our menu of training events. The one thing I'm going to point out here on the bottom is Joe Ross, the #1 IUL sales coach, is back, and I'm so excited. On the 14th of May, we're going to include this slide in the thank you email so you can check it out tonight. And then my last slide and question of the day is next, and we'll put a bow on this. Okay, real fast. And by the way, the left side, that was our expo from last year, right? And the question was, how do we make this our best year ever? The answer, by doing exactly what we said we would do on January 1st, right? New Year's Day, new goals, right? New bucket list. Don't forget it. Make it happen. Write it down. Keep it in front of you on a post-it note, right? With scotch tape, whatever it is. Put it on your alarm clock when it wakes you up in the morning on your iPhone, whatever. But you got to keep it in front of your eyeballs constantly. Okay. Hashtag was you have the answers. All right. Question of the day. Get your little fingers on the keyboard. We're only 5 minutes late, so not too bad. My apologies. Question of the day. We spoke about the new Assurity DI product to $30,000 a month is the max benefit, right? And you just heard Doug, right, ranting about the product. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be on Insure Me Now Direct as well. That's the little secret sauce that wasn't supposed to share, but I just did, and that's okay. Anyway, tell me the answer. What's the name of that product, and you win. The new Assurity DI product we all just spoke about for the last hour and 5 minutes. Tell me the name, and you win Apple AirPods IUL prospecting book. Andrew, who was first and who was correct?
Okay, we have Ivan M. Ivan M.
Ivan M., congratulations. The name of the new product is Income Protection Plus from Assurity, up to $30,000. They're now playing in that white collar space as well. Let's all have a great day, great selling. Please reach out anytime for anything. We're here to help you every step of the way. Thanks again.